That's a little bit of a bummer that we weren't able to put it on the 500i. Welcome to the Okie Woodsman channel. My name is Joe, and I have an exciting package to open up with you on camera from Full Tilt Saw. He has a small YouTube channel. He has an Instagram and a TikTok following. I don't know if he's on Facebook, but he might be there too. He reached out to me and said, hey, I've got something for you because I commented on one of his videos. Let me show you what he sent. This is not a complete surprise. He did talk to me, asking me some questions. Let's see what it is. I have always wanted to try one of these. We'll talk about it here and just as we take a look, actually. Oh, buddy. Whatever's in here is pretty expensive because if you don't know, these things are like gold. Oh, there's one more thing. I know many of you are probably like, oh, what's the big deal, right? Well, what's the big deal? Let's take a look here. This is what we're showing here. This is what he wrote on the box. Full Tilt Saw cuts, makes, and does grind his very own chain. And so let's take a look together. I've never had one of these, everybody. So we have a 93 drive link chain, and that is, well, you can see that. That is square ground right there. Let's see if this goes easy. There we are. 93 drive links. We're going to try to put this on my 500i. I don't know whether or not that's actually going to work out. And the reason being is that 93 is generally what you see on Husky 28 and on Echo 28 on like the 7310. It's kind of the standard drive link size. You have a couple variations out there, and Stihl is one of them. I am very excited now. Oh, that is very sharp. Oh my gosh, that top plate actually feels like a razor knife. Okay, I'm getting it. Oh, we have to check the other package. Let's take a look at what's in there too. All right, what's in here? Some of you may have guessed it. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm not sure what brand that is right there. I don't think there's very many manufacturers of these files, but I'm really curious to know what that is right there. These are those triangular files. He sent me this so that way I can hopefully begin to start. Oh, that is a furred symbol. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's the furred. Now that I can see it, I don't have my glasses on. I'm pretty sure that's the horse. I think that's what's on there, right? So I think this is a furred file. Guys, these are very expensive. Full Tilt, thank you for a wonderful package. This is heck of a chain. The value here is, well, there's a lot of value here because a Stihl RS chain is worth something. Then he went ahead and took and put a square grind on it, and he sent me a brand new furred, whatever these are called, triple edge file or whatever. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to be careful not to touch that edge because my understanding is your skin deteriorates the filing cutting edges if you touch it. So I'm going to be careful with that one. Those are expensive. I really want this to go on here. Obviously, I had a conversation with him. He said, what size? And I kind of said, well, I got 91 and I've got 93. I'm going to see if 93 will fit on here with a bar made or spec'd to Stihl specifications. This is a Sugihara bar, and this is calling for, see if we can tell on here. Do they not mark their bars? Interesting. I don't see it marked on here, guys. Well, that's kind of dumb. I know Stihl light bars have that. Let me show you, in my opinion, what ought to be done. This is a Husky bar right here. This was an X-Force bar. You can see that it says 28-inch, 93 drive links, 050. This one does not, but I'm pretty sure that they add said 91 because Stihl is 91. I'll confirm that and put that in the video as I edit this. The question is with this chain being a little bit longer than it's supposed to be on this 28, is there going to be enough adjustability? I don't know, but we're gonna give it a shot. We're waiting on this saw to cool down since I just swapped out this exhaust. I want to see how well it starts, but you're going to see that we are, if this travels 100% of the way across here, we're about halfway through our adjustability. I really want this to fit. And this is another bit of conversation here. Stihl has some very strange numbers that they've chosen to go with on these saws. Boy, that is very slack, guys. I don't think that's going to work. Let's see what happens when I extend this all the way out. I don't think this is going to work. So I have a couple options. I can go to my Stihl dealership. They cut chains for me. Yeah, it's going to be too slack. Yeah, there's no chance that's going to work. Okay. Well, gosh dang it. That's actually pretty incredible. I didn't expect that. So guys, which saw do you think I'm going to put this chain on? I'm going to use my Oki Woodsman bar. But what saw do you think I should put it on up here? The saws that have an option would be my 7310. I could put it on my 395. I can put it on my Clone 372. I could put it on my 562. I could put it on here, but it's not going to go on there. I think I know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to talk that out here in just a moment. Actually, I do have one more option that I didn't really think about, and I don't want to do, but I might. Well, this is going to turn into a bar and chain discussion, kind of unexpectedly. When I ordered my 500i from Saw Suppliers, I did want the Stihl 28-inch light bar specifically, but they didn't have them at the time, so I decided to go with the 32. So that's a standard 105 drive link, just like my Oregon bar for the 7310, that's also 105 drive link. And so there's a little bit of variable here, but I'm pretty sure that this Sugihara bar is in harmony with what Stihl would specify in terms of drive lengths. I mentioned that Stihl does some weird stuff with their bar lengths. So this is a Husky, this is a 93, this is a Husqvarna. I took the name off of it because I don't want you really buying Husqvarna bars. I'm not a big fan of them, at least in the past. This one is kind of too early to tell. But see, this is actually Stihl pattern, and they spec'd 92 on that. And then we've got the Stihl 28 that is spec'd as 91. So I want to show you here. Now keep in mind, Stihl calls this bar here a 28-inch bar. The Husqvarna one is also called a 28-inch bar. We have our holes lined up here, and the one that should be the longest is this Husky, which is also a 28-inch bar. If we line up the tail pattern here, and we'll kind of go from small, medium, and large. This is why the Stihl takes a smaller chain. Okay, so everything's lined up at the back. Yeah, they're all lined up back here. Everything's looking good. But I want you to see the difference. Husky 28, Husqvarna Stihl 28, which makes a lot more sense. I don't know where they came up with 92 drive lengths, but anyway, we've got the Sugi bar, which should echo again the Stihl pattern. This is also called 28, and you can see it's a heck of a lot shorter. What happens if I try to put the Husqvarna bar on there? I really want to run a West Coast style chain on my newest and most powerful West Coast style saw with the West Coast dogs, the West Coast bark box. I just kind of wanted to have a theme going on there. And so right now I'm kind of like a little bit bummed about that. And I knew this could be a potential issue, or not an issue, but I could run into this. I can't believe I'm about to do this. I'm putting the cheapest bar on my most expensive saw, and it's like arguably the most beautiful saw I have. I don't know, I kind of like how Husky 5 Series look. But let's see if this Square Ground 93 will fit on a Husqvarna bar that is spec'd for 92. Okay, so this is possibly going to be a good... This might work out. I might be able to run this bar. Did I want to run the Husqvarna bar? The answer is no. Okay, so initially here it looks like it might be promising. Let's see how much room we have in adjustability, because if we're almost bottomed out, that will not work. I'm about at the end of adjustability. I think I'm not gonna mess with it, guys. I think I'm gonna just put this chain on another saw, and that's a darn shame. Of course, this is a clearly stated specification that Stihl publishes, but I don't know why they call a 28-inch bar that's very obviously probably at least a ½ inch shorter than a real 28-inch bar. I don't know why they call it a 28 rather than a 27. And similarly, on 24 or 25-inch Stihl bars, they use the same exact drive lengths, 84, as on other brands like Oregon, on Husqvarna, and on the newer Echo stuff. Now, I'm going to say this. The Echo 620, they have weird drive length numbers as well, and I actually absolutely hate that, so much so that I don't own a single bar and chain that are dedicated to this saw. I adapt everything to Husky because, well, I want to be able to run my bars and chains across the board wherever possible. Stihl uses 24-inch bars and chains and calls them 25. They have a 28-inch bar and chain and calls it, well, no, it's like a 27-inch. I don't know what the heck. What is the deal? But at 32 inches, there's complete harmony across the board on Husqvarna, Echo, and Stihl. 105 drive lengths, 32 inches. That's the way it ought to be. At least the 25s take 24-inch chains. I think it's a mislabeling. So it's better than nothing, but why not make a 28-inch bar 28 inches? Now, again, this was clearly labeled. I knew it could be an issue. I was hoping it wouldn't be an issue, but that's the deal. This is where we're at. So now, what saw should I put it on up there? I'm kind of torn. I'm going to explain my thoughts. Initially, my first thought was 562. I purchased that saw with this 28-inch bar right here. You're not going to bury that all the time in 28 inches of wood or 30 inches of wood and be extremely happy with it. Now, to be able to stand up and buck, it's pretty nice, but it does balance that saw out kind of weird, being that this bar is not a light bar. Am I going to put this bar and chain on that saw? The answer is no. I want to, because it's super sweet to run. I think that how that saw runs, I think would be pretty good. Now, am I going to put it on my 7310? That's kind of like the next one that I actually really would like to put it on, because I absolutely love running it, but it doesn't have a, remember I had like a theme going, like a West Coast style theme, full wrap handle, because what I'm going to cut with this saw is going to be some pine. I'm going to cut clean pine. I'm not going to stick this in dirty firewood that's been drugged through the ground, because it'll just destroy it. So am I going to use it on the 7310? I don't think so. Then I thought, man, it's a natural. $395. That's where it needs to go. 28-inch bar. He said that this might be a little bit hungry on the rakers. I don't know. I was thinking this one, so, because it might be good with that chain. But guys, I'm really only left with one other option right now, unless I go break this chain at the Stihl dealership, have them shorten it up, in which case then I could only ever use it on the 500i or the 460. Oh gosh, am I really thinking I want to put it on this clone? Well, look at this. We got a full wrap handle. It runs really good. Full tilt. What do you think? This is base gasket deleted. It's a really nice runner, but I'm debating on whether or not I want to do it. What I really want it on is the 500i, guys. Real quick, before I do this, I want to weigh these bars just to see where they're at. I'll do them in pounds and ounces this time. I normally do things in grams. So a true 28-inch bar, non-light bar from Husqvarna is 3 pounds, 13 ounces. So just shy of 4 pounds. Sugi light bar. Remember, that one was 3 pounds. This is the shortest bar here. 3 pounds, 4 ounces. Let me just reweigh this one just in case. 3 pounds, 13 ounces. All right, let's take a look at this Husqvarna bar. Is it going to be the heaviest? 3 pounds, 4 ounces. So this one is kind of middle of the pack. The coolest chain I got is going on a saw that's cool, but it's a clone. I love it, but it's a clone. I'm doing it, everybody. 372 clone. I'm putting a chain on that is pretty darn nice. This is a nice saw, but I really wanted it on the 500i. If I love the square ground chain, this will probably not be the last you see it. Now, he does make these chains on the square jig. So he's not using a Symington, he's not hand filing them, he is using the square jig. Check that out. We've got square ground on this West Coast style 372 clone. Darn shame, Stihl. Okay, that tightened up on there sufficiently well.
1 second.
Awesome. That'll work right there. That's a little bit of a bummer that we weren't able to put it on the 500i, but you know what? This saw needs a little bit more runtime as well. So there it is. We're at least going to try it on here because I have some pine trees that I want to fall. And I want a full wrap handle. I may not use it, honestly, because I'm not that proficient at it. Make sure you check out Full Tilt's content on Instagram and on TikTok and on YouTube. He does have some videos showing square grinding with the square jig. Thanks for watching the Okie Woodsman channel. We'll see you on the next one.